Hey everybody, it's Brandon the Weekend Cruiser, where I go on a weekend cruise just about every weekend, and that is to the tune of around 20% of the year, maybe 25% of the year. I am just now completing my 620th night at sea, and this is my 149th cruise that I have officially done. And I get asked all the time, Brandon, how can you cruise so much? Or how can you make that happen for your life? I wish that I could do that. And the first thing that I want to tell you, and I'm going to go through kind of how I do it, but this is my life. My life is very structured and very intentional. I recognize that not everybody can pull off what I've been able to pull off, but it has taken a lot of discipline, a lot of intentionality to make this my life. It's very much so what I have structured, and it comes with its pros and its cons. So the way that I'm able to do it is, number one, I recognize that I'm limited by time and by money. Those are the two things that keep me from cruising more than I do. From a time perspective, I would say that this is probably more vacation time is what I mean by here. And, that's why I'm the weekend cruiser. Everybody's like, oh, you must really just go for the ship because you go to Nassau and the Bahamas all the time. You must really just enjoy the ship. And I would go on longer sailings, but those are going to count against my vacation time. And I don't get that many per year. However, if I come on a weekend, guess what? Nobody cares where I'm at on Saturday and Sunday for my job. It's great. So everybody's like, oh, I wish I had that much vacation time. I'm like, I didn't take any vacation time because it's Saturday and Sunday. I am the last one to board the ship on Friday afternoon, at like the absolute last one. And then we can get off the ship normally around 7:15 in the morning. And I don't have to miss any time from work to make that happen. So it works out really, really good for my schedule. To also help in saving time, I live across the street from the port. I intentionally moved to the port. Everybody's like, oh, if I lived that close to the port, I'd be on going cruises on all the time. Why do you think I'm there? Like, I moved down from Boston to be closer, and even being in Fort Lauderdale was not close enough. I was like, I need to see the ships. If I'm not on a ship, I need to see it. And so I moved across from the port in Miami. I can walk to like Terminal C, D, E in like 25 minutes. Terminal A is a little bit further, but I can walk it or just take an $8 Uber ride to go to and from the port. So it is super easy and super convenient. The downside of me going on a lot of weekend cruises, and that being, my life, is I'm gone on the weekends, right? So making friends, building relationships in Miami has been tougher because people, for whatever reason, don't want to go to a bar on a Monday night. I don't understand that. I'm gone Friday, Saturday, and Sunday, which is normally prime time for meeting people, getting together with friends, doing dinner, going to see a movie. I'm gone for all those. And so my life is, my friends are on the ship. I know more people on ships than I do on land these days. And that's the reality of my life. I am fine with it that way. Do I wish I had more probably friends and structure on land? Yeah, but I'm not willing to make the trade-off of being like, hey, let's miss a lot of cruises when that I'd rather be on the cruise ship. So that's one of the big trade-offs that I've unfortunately had to make, and I'm good with it. Now, the biggest one here, and this is probably the one that impacts most people, is financially. How do I afford going on cruises so much? How do I have the money to do this? And so the first thing that I'll tell you is that, I manage my money really conservatively. I prioritize my money. So I used to be a mint.com. Let me know in the comments if you were a mint.com person to manage where all my money went. Now I am using YNAB, not affiliated by any stretch. They actually turned me down from their affiliate program. But anyway, the YNAB.com, you need a budget is what it stands for. But the purpose or point of YNAB is every dollar has a job. And so when I'm going through and assigning my dollars to a job, guess what they're getting assigned to? They're getting assigned to me going on cruises, and then I see if I have any money left, and then I can do something else. But cruises, right behind housing and food, which I try to keep low, goes right behind that. My cruises are the biggest expense that I have, and it is one of the only expenses that I have. So I started cruising when I was in Boston, as I mentioned before, and I refigured my entire life to cut the cost of going on cruises because I recognize that my time was limited. If I'm flying back and forth, that's taking up time. It's also costing me money to fly to Florida all the time to go on these cruises. And I uprooted my life and said, okay, I just need to move to Florida to be closer to the ships. Everybody's like, Brendan, why'd you move to Florida? Cruise ships. I moved specifically to be closer to the cruise ships and to save money so that I could cruise more. So again, very intentional, and not everybody can just pick up their life and be like, hey, I'm moving to Florida next week. Bye, everybody. That's my life. I have the ability, because it's just me. One of the other decisions that I've kind of, I don't know if I've made that decision or that's just kind of been the way that it's been. It's just me. I have family. They're all in North Carolina. Mom's actually on this cruise with me, so you might see some of her stuff back here. She's cruising around me. But for the most part, it's just me. I make a decision. I don't have to consult with anybody on if I can do that or I can't do that. So that's one of the reasons that I was able to so easily move down to Florida. Now, let's talk about expense reduction. So I was telling you that the decisions that I make are very intentional, and I have a lot of trade-offs to get me on cruise ships more. The first one, I sold my car. When I moved to Miami to be closer to the port, part of that was I could sell my car. I didn't need the Florida insurance, didn't need a car payment. I could get rid of my car and I don't need it. Everywhere that I want to go is within walking distance, so it's super easy. I also moved into a place that I can have roommates, which, by the way, I'm the perfect roommate, not because I'm necessarily clean and neat, but because I'm gone a lot. And so it's good for me to have people there. I know they're watching over the place. It's in good order. If I'm not there, they can fix something. But more importantly, it helps bring down the cost of my housing. Again, allowing me to go on more cruises. Not everybody is a roommate kind of person. Not everybody wants to have roommates. I'm a twin. I don't know if you all know that. I'm a twin. I've never not had a roommate. Even conception all the way through, I have always had roommates, and I've enjoyed that. I like that life. And I like the cost savings that it also brings to the table. I also don't drink alcohol. This is one that 6 or 7 years ago, and it wasn't necessarily financially driven when I quit. It is one of the definite pros to not drinking alcohol is, number one, you don't take on the calories, but number two, you don't spend all the money on drinks. Drinks in Florida, alcoholic drinks anywhere are expensive these days. And so by me not doing that, I am saving tons of money. I also save tons of money when I go on cruises because I don't need a deluxe beverage package. I don't have to buy alcohol. Granted, here on Royal Caribbean, they give me the drinks, and Celebrity, they give me the drinks at this point. But because I wasn't drinking, I was able to go on more cruises and advance in their loyalty program because I could afford more of it because I wasn't going drinking, I wasn't going to McDonald's at 3 a.m., whatever have you, and spending money. I was prioritizing cruising. I also limit my onboard expenses. So I don't buy Wi-Fi on weekend cruises because I just don't need it. I have a great international cell phone plan with Google Fi. I'll link to the video here if you want to check them out. That saves me a ton of money by not having to buy the Wi-Fi on a weekend cruise. You're looking at $20 to $25 per day to pull off the Wi-Fi, and I don't do that. What I do on the ship, though, is I get my hair cut on the ship because it's cheaper than Miami. Go figure that Miami cost more to get my haircut. So I just get my haircut on the ship on MSC Magnifica 2 weeks ago. So they did my haircut here. $32 out the door, tip and everything. It was wonderful. I also gave up gambling because I was monitoring my money. I knew where it was going, and gambling was really sucking wind hard for me. And so I decided to give up gambling. And I'll link to a video here where I kind of explain my logic and rationale there. But the financial benefit of gambling, I mean, granted, even looking at gambling as a financial benefit is kind of wrong. But the trade-off was absolutely not worth it. Like, I needed to prioritize getting me on cruises more and not sitting at the casino trying to get those free cruises that I was paying more for than just honestly booking the room. I also don't eat at Specialty restaurants that often. If I have a group of friends that have come on board, yeah, I'll go to Specialty every now and again, but I really try to limit it to just my BOGO. I don't buy the unlimited dining packages or anything like that anymore. I'm not doing those because it saves me money. I don't have to pay for that extra expense. The other thing that I've done, and this was absolutely not started for money, was I started a YouTube channel. I have you all that are out there watching my channel, and I love making content. Like, this is one of my favorite things to do, and it happens to pay a wee little bit of money. Granted, I spend a ton on this. They don't tell you when you get started on YouTube. It also costs a lot to have a YouTube channel, but it does pay a little bit and helps offset at least the price of me going on cruises. And hopefully one day it'll continue changing and allow me to go full-time with YouTube and become a full-time content creator, which is a dream of mine. I don't know that it'll ever truly materialize, but right now I'm enjoying the extra cash flow that I do get from it. Again, absolutely nothing crazy. It's not even enough that I could quit my job and afford health insurance in the US. But it is a small step, and maybe one day I will get there. My cruising style also continues to evolve. So you all know that I used to be loyal to Royal Caribbean. I would only sell them, only looked at Royal Caribbean. And then their prices started to skyrocket, and the quality, quite frankly, started to come down some. And I was like, what? Why am I being loyal here again? Like, why am I paying such a premium for lesser than an experience? And so I started looking around at others. I've been selling MSC a lot more these days, mainly because it saves me money. The value that I see in getting MSC, I'm paying $400 for a cruise, for a weekend cruise for just me in the room, and that is fantastic. That is a really, really good deal. I can't get on a Royal Caribbean ship these days for $800, $1,000 for an interior weekend. And so by me switching cruise lines and just looking outside the box, thinking differently, I'm able to save money and cruise more. That is what it is all about. Most importantly, I have a full-time job. So that is why I'm the weekend cruiser. I think people assume that I do this full-time, that I'm a content creator full-time already. That is the farthest thing from the case. I am really like scraping by to find time to do this at different points, because I do have a full-time job that requires a lot of my attention, and I'm very fortunate to enjoy my job, to like my job, and to be able to get a paycheck and to have health insurance. Those are big things that I'm able to, see. I've got money coming in from that I can say housing, food, and then I can say, okay, let's go on some cruise ships. Like, I can prioritize my money that way, and it keeps me with healthcare. So I'm super grateful to be able to have that opportunity and to be able to then maximize my weekend experience and go on cruises. All right, everybody, this is Brandon, the Weekend Cruiser. I hope that answered a lot of your questions on how I'm able to cruise so much. It is, again, a very intentional, a very well-structured life that is very different than most people. So I hope this gave you a little bit of insight into the decisions that I have personally made in order to cruise a little bit more. And if you want to cruise with me, make sure you're clicking down on the Group Cruise newsletter down below so that you can see everywhere that we're going and stay up to date on how you can cruise with the Weekend Cruiser.